conference part. And then breaks. Breaks are huge too. Just giving yourself a brain break um, while you're getting all of this new information. Food is also important as part of those breaks too. So making sure your schedule has some time in it. 30 minutes or an hour in the middle of the day. Don't be afraid to leave the conference center and like go out and grab lunch or dinner or just make those plans. Or even sometimes I'll just walk around in those breaks so that because there's a lot of sitting too. There's a lot of walking during the day too, but sometimes after I've sat in some conferences, I like to just move my body.
Yeah, so just always try to be intentional when you are planning your conference experience because it is so easy to get overwhelmed with the amount of information that you get because it can get like knowledge overload. Um, and I don't know about any other ADHD girlies like me that we might have here, but I will forget to eat and then I will get there at 9 p.m. and go, I did not eat a single thing today. So make sure that you plan that intentionally so that you can digest both like mentally all of the information that you're getting and physically digest some food and make sure that you can sustain, all that you are learning while at the conference.
I think also that's a good time to think about having a plan B for a lot of the things during the day too.
Mhm.
So that if you go to a session and it's full, having that plan B of like, this is what I would like to do today, but here are some other options as I go along.
All right, next we're going to talk about, and our kind of biggest suggestions are going to be around the exhibit hall because it can be a bright, shiny, distracting, and amazing experience, but it can get very overwhelming. So first, you got to think about your author signings. Uh, Depending on how big the author is, plan some time to stand in that line. There will be lines queued up on sometimes the other side because they're getting ready for this big author, our Kwame Alexanders, our Jason Reynolds, um, our Karen McManus's, all of those really big names. When we have them, their lines start early. Um, but don't get in the line too early because you don't want to be spending all of your time in lines the entire conference. So I would say get the ones that you can get, but like be mindful and intentional in what you are picking. You're not just going to get free stuff. You're there to make networking experiences, to learn new things, and connect with other librarians.
There's a nice quote in the middle here from one of our past presentations. This might be where you are tempted to stay the whole time. Don't get sucked into the author excitement that you'll miss out on sessions that will truly add to your library program. So that's from Melanie Delaney. So again, just remember your focus and why you're there.
And then the last part is when you're thinking about the exhibit hall, we wanted to kind of express what the actual purpose of an exhibit hall is. Yes, you do get a lot of freebies and swag, but this is your chance to see a lot of your vendors face to face that you don't get to see very often in your library. So you're able to compare products and discover new things that are going to benefit you in your library program, um, attend demos, panel discussions, workshops. I know last year DIMCO unveiled their book doctor at TLA in the vendor. We at my school district just had her come out and do a session. We would have never known about that unless we went into the exhibit hall. So it's a wonderful and amazing thing, but you should be using your time in there not just to gather all of the things because you still have to carry those home. Remember that. But also to be able to make those connections and get the coupons and the things that they do offer, so that you can take it back and benefit your library when you leave.
Right. There's a coupon book whenever you walk in the door. Sometimes I forgot, I didn't even know what it was my first year, and all these people were grabbing them. And it's really beneficial when you get back to your campus or your library. And there's discount codes, and some of them are only for while you're in the exhibit during the conference too. So just browse through that.
And who doesn't love coupons? It is so great to get back to your library and go to make an order that you know you need these supplies, and you find out you get an extra $20 off. That's $20 I can spend on more supplies. Um, so all of those. Next, we're going to talk about planning and packing, because you are going to be there for hopefully the entire time, the 4 days. And there are some things that you may, if you've never been to a conference before, that you might want to know about. So on this slide, we have the packing list that the new member roundtable created. And we also have the link so that you can get to it later. So things like important info, your app, it is already in the App Store. Kelly's going to talk to us a little bit about that later. Your conference schedule, hotel reservations, all of the logistical things, your clothing, conference necessities. One thing that you do need to figure out is kind of like how you like to conference, really. If you know that, and I think I have that somewhere on here, the asterisks are suggested. If you know that you like handwriting your notes in these conferences, don't bother bringing a laptop unless you are going to recap at the end of the day. If you are someone who likes taking notes on your laptop or a tablet, know that you will be having that on your back or on your shoulder all day long for 8 hours. So those are things to just think about as you're packing and figuring that out. I always say bring extra tote bags. In my backpack, what I will bring is my laptop. And then I will take every extra canvas bag or swag bag that I get, and I fold them up flat and I stuff them in my backpack. And then I take them out when I get free stuff. And so I'm just adding bags on each shoulder on top of my backpack. And then when I normally have time and I'm deciding when I can take my break, I either go drop it at my hotel if my hotel is close enough in walking distance, or I go drop it in the trunk of my car to never be seen until I get back home and have an unboxing party. So those are some things to think about. You will definitely want to wear some comfy shoes. If you want to wear high heels or dress shoes, more power to you. Just understand that you will be in them for a very long time, and you will think that you are going to get a break. And as we've mentioned before, if you're not super intentional about it beforehand, you may not ever actually stop and change your shoes. Bring layers, because the conference centers, they're very big, they get drafty. Plan your snacks. So like when you plan on going to stop to get food, where all of the vendors are, things like that, so that you, if you don't plan on taking those bigger breaks, you have some sort of plan to get nutrition. And then again, always bring extra packs. Anything to add?
I think
Or
this is also the dress at conferences. You will see
Mhm.
all kinds. You will see people in suits and you will see people in jeans and t-shirts. It's really what you're comfortable with. And like last year I was presenting, and on that day I elevated my outfit a little bit, but on the last day of the conference it's definitely a little bit more comfy vibe going on. So again, just wear what you're comfortable for conferencing.
Yeah. And remember, you are still networking with other professionals. So like you're not gonna show up in flip-flops necessarily. But like I always try to wear like a library related shirt, and then I'll pair it with a nicer skirt or something just to elevate it, because that's my personal style. But just know that. And another thing, I think I have it on here, business cards. If you have them, bring them. I did not know how wonderful and empowering it is to hand someone a business card until I was handed one the first time. And I was like, why do I not have this? So that's just a fun fact. If you don't have them, plan it for next year.
I use an app on my phone that has a QR code.
That's
So,
true. There are those as well. Do you want to talk about the food or do you want me to
oh,
continue
sure.
talking about my food?
Again, I feel like a lot of this is like food and shoes and like what we're wearing. But again, snacks are a friend. I am a big fan of having stuff at the hotel room so that when I come back there, there are some stuff. Because again, if I'm out and I forget to eat. Again, there are reimbursement policies. It depends on which fund. My school is a Title I campus, so when I'm doing Title I reimbursements, it's a much different process than just a campus reimbursement. So making sure that I have a place to keep all of my receipts and all of that, and how you're going to keep that organized, and knowing what your budget is for each day, and then also what your hotel has. One year my hotel was like 5 star. And that was great, but I didn't want to eat a 5 star breakfast before going. So we went to another place for meals. Last year my hotel had free breakfast every morning. So that was great and took advantage of that every morning. So
And then one of the other things is check with your vendors. If you have not checked your spam to see if you are getting emails from some of your vendors, they have been starting sending out over the last 2 weeks of like, hey, we're going to be at TLA, come visit us. And they might also have dinners planned, drinks, all of those things that allows you to get to know your vendors better, but also anything complimentary is wonderful as you are making networking and planning a large conference like this. Um, we also wanted to highlight a new thing that TLA is doing this year, and that's the TLA Journey Maps. So we have ours hyperlinked here, and we're going to put a link to the PowerPoint later, or you can put the tiny URL, and the QR code brings you straight to all of the TLA maps. So that's going to be there for recommendations for different educational sessions based off of your interest. So if you are also in the Black Caucus, you are also going to be able to look at their suggested ones. If you are also in YART for Young Adult Roundtable, or you're in Tassel for school libraries.
yeah.
I'm a school librarian and I forgot the words for a second. Um, and so think of them as a personal guide. Do you have to go to all of those sessions? Absolutely not. You do you, boo. But those are there to highlight some of the sessions that we tried to make sure that on ours we picked a wide variety of different types of libraries, because we know that New Members Roundtable really caters to all of the different types of libraries. It's just if you are new. So we have things like that that are very transferable for everybody on there. And I think we also wanted to give Kelly a little bit of time here to talk about the app. We don't have a picture of it or anything up here right now, but she's going to talk to us about it.
Good evening, everybody. And so if you've been poking around in the Apple App Store or in the Google Play Store, you may have seen the TLA 2024 app. And yes, it is there. You can poke around, look at it, see all the things, but you can't log in just yet. On Monday, April 8th, you all will receive an email if you're registered for conference with the ability to download the app and log you in. And so the email will go to whatever email you're registered with. So if you're with a school district, a public library, academic library, and you registered with your work email, it'll go to that work email. If you're the type of person that does not have your email on your phone, that's okay. There will be a QR code that you can scan, and it will download the app and log you in from that scanned QR code. But if you do open the email on your phone and you click download, it'll download to your phone and it will log you in. So if you're wondering what's the difference of just looking at the app versus being logged in for the app, when you are logged in to the app, that is when you can build your itinerary. And so you can look at these journey maps. So let's say new member roundtable, rock and journey map, you love it. You want your whole conference to be based off this journey map. You can plug and play, be like, okay, they told me to go to this session on Wednesday. Let me mark this on my itinerary. Maybe you're in Tassel, maybe you are in Black Caucus Roundtable, and you want to pull bits and pieces from each of their journey maps and build your itinerary that way. You are more than welcome to do so. And so that is the benefit of being logged in for the app, is to build that itinerary. There's some other really great features about the app this year I want to highlight. When you are logged in, there's a chat feature. You are going to meet so many librarians and vendors at this conference. And you might walk away and you knew their name, but you forgot to grab their email or you forgot to grab their phone number because you were just so wrapped up in the experience. You can find them on the app, and if they selected they can want to be contacted, you can message them and be like, hey, Caitlin, it was great meeting you. I would love to get your email and we can connect a little bit further. And so the app this year offers you that incredible networking opportunity. Some additional things about the app. We've been talking a lot about that exhibit hall. You can see what's happening in the exhibit hall. You can see where the vendors are located. You can see their food menus. You can see exactly how much things cost. So if you're building your budget and you want to eat at the exhibit hall, you can build everything there. Some other features that I want to highlight before we move on is there's this incredible website that's connected to our app by Visit San Antonio. And San Antonio created this website for us where it gives you suggestions on where to go, where your hotels are located. And there's this badge program where if you show your TLA badge, you can possibly get some discounts at certain restaurants in San Antonio. And so your evenings, I know you're having a great time in the evening, but you want to save $1 or $2, maybe find one of those restaurants that accepts your badge and gives you that discount. So once again, you can definitely download that app, but your login will not be ready until Monday, April 8th. And I do want to advise you that we might encourage you to push an update. They are making little tweaks here and there this week, but we will, if you want to download it on Monday, re-download it, update it. The final product will be ready on Monday for you. And if you guys have any questions at all, I'll drop them in the chat and I can talk to you all about it. But I'm going to hand it back to Miss Erin and Caitlin.
All right. The last kind of two things that we're really going to be talking about is networking and getting involved. And this is really important because this is one of the only times that you are able to be surrounded by other Texas librarians. It's one of the biggest conferences, and it is really the time for you to be able to meet up with your PLN, your professional learning network. So if you are big on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, or people that you know from across different districts, Erin and I am from Houston and she is up near Dallas, right?
Yep.
See, we actually met at our conference the first time, and through our roundtable social. So we're also going to talk a little bit about that. But this is the one time you get to see some of your people, all of your library people, once a year. So you really want to take advantage of that and the networking that is available to you while you're at the conference.
And if you are active on one of those socials and somebody just randomly hugs you, that happens too. Like, it's so good to see you. I'm like, oh my goodness. It's just because I'm active on different socials, and it was really fun. Talking to our vendors about those invites to after hours events, especially whoever you spend the most money with books, you should be invited to their event, and just talk to them, reach out. My vendor forgot one of my invites last year. I'm like, what? I know you're having a party tonight. And so I just, and I got it fixed. No problem. So just, it's okay to be a little bold.
Yeah. And then there's also our ticketed events, like the roundtable socials and the division socials that you can also go to. Most of those are going to be ticketed. Some cost money, some do not. You just have to be able to go back in and add them to your conference. So for example, I know that Tassel, the school library division, has a social. And when I initially did my conference registration, it was not one of the ticketed events that was there when I did it, but they were able to add it. So all I had to do was go back in and add that ticketed event. And it looks like Kelly also just put that all of the ticketed events close this Friday. So this would be the time that you need to go do that today, tomorrow, or Friday to get that done. Same thing with the roundtables.
Yeah, I would like to just add, so if your school district purchased your ticket or your conference and you're having issues adding a ticketed event or you don't know how to, just reach out to the TLA office. They do close 11:59 on April 5th. It is completely closed. So we do have speed dating the Bluebonnets is completely sold out. There are some of them that are just super close to being sold out. So if you have been thinking about it, do it. They are a blast. It is a great way to network, get to know people, meet some authors. Just depends what session you sign up for. But if you've been thinking about it, go ahead and do it. It's closing here on Friday.
And Erin and I can attest to what the socials can do for you as a librarian and networking. We initially met at the new member roundtable social 2 years ago, right? And I ended up just kind of following her around after that because she knew about the vendors.
I was going to.
She had vendors that had let her into the news, and I had no idea because it was my first time. And so I joined her, and now we're great conference buddies. We love being able to meet up at conferences. We'll split our ways and go to different sessions and then debrief after. So it is a great way to meet new people. I don't think Erin and I would have ever had the chance to meet other than maybe through social media otherwise. So all of those are just great opportunities for you to broaden your network and like be able to share the library joy with everybody.
This one is really important. At the conference, there's so many different ways that you can be involved, even just as an attendee. So we have the TLA Engage that has all the different things that you obviously use because that's how you found out about this. So there's different ways to get involved there, either through divisions and roundtables. And then volunteering at TLA, again, that closes on Friday, but they're always looking for volunteers. It's 2-hour shifts. You can do everything from getting people signed in the very first day to working a signing line to all kinds of different events. And then those committees, we always need people. Like New Members Roundtable, we have empty spots on our committees, and it's a really great time to put a face and a name together and like figure out if that's something that you want to be involved in. It's something that I don't think if you would have told me a few years ago I'd be the chair of Roundtable, I would have laughed at you because I didn't think that that was in the stars for me just quite yet. But that That's been a really great way of networking and meeting people, and then just the other trainings you get.
Yeah. So getting involved in TLA, I think is super important, especially after your first conference. Once you get kind of the lay of the land, you could also come to and watch the TLA Council. Our counselor for new members roundtable, and that was the first time I had ever experienced anything like that. And what a council for TLA looks like, where we're discussing issues or we are voting for or against changes in the bylaws and just different things like that. That it's been a really unique way for me to be able to get involved in TLA and network and get to know other people outside of my very siloed realm. We all, I don't know about you guys, I should probably not say all, but we all get a little lonely. Library land can get a little lonely because if you're at a school, you're the only one most of the time. At the public library, you might have, one or two, and then you have library support staff. That sometimes it just gets lonely, and you need to be able to have people to reach out and connect with, share ideas with, and getting involved in TLA, I feel, has definitely added to that experience and helped me be a better librarian than I think I could have been at year 5 than if I wasn't involved in TLA. I think that's it for us.
Yeah. I think if I was going to add one other thing is being open to new experiences, um, and getting out and like instead of sitting in your hotel room when you're done. I know it's been a long day, but sometimes like we had drinks downstairs one time, and then Kwame Alexander walked in, and we became best friends and all of that. But it's just you never know, like just sitting out and like those talks that you have, like it's a there's organic connections that happen besides just those um
And
planned.
you don't necessarily have to stay with the people that you originally came with. So if you're traveling with your group from work, um, it's great, but you also get to see those people all the time. You might want a break. I don't know. So take it as an experience and the ability to try new things and meet new people. But I think that's all that we have for today. Kelly can probably take us
Absolutely.
home.
If you guys need anything at all, Erin and Caitlin are phenomenal resources, especially being a newbie to conference. I definitely want to share, we are one of the largest conferences in the nation. And so we need a lot of volunteers to help us make it incredibly successful. So please definitely, if you can volunteer, volunteer. And if you can't think of where you would like to volunteer until next week, email me. It's Kelly M, KELLYM at txla.org. And Jamie Baird did mention her email in the chat. Jamie helps with the authors area, and that's an incredible place to volunteer and see all the things that are happening. So if you need anything at all, please feel free to reach out to any of us. And other than that, have a wonderful evening, and we all cannot wait to see you at conference. Thank you, guys.